Who will get blamed in France for this?
Well, the players. Well,
not Deschamps?
Well, Deschamps, no,
because we talk about them being lacking that, or having too much complacency, going out there. Is that not Deschamps' role as a coach?
Yeah, but the players are in the middle of the park. They are on the field and they know what they have to do. Deschamps already proved with the World Cup 2014, then 2018, that he created an atmosphere. Before, it was the big mess. Remember 2010, the bus thing and everything. We come back from far to be 8 years after champion of the world. So Didier Deschamps has a big credit because of the captain of the in 98 and 2000 team, and then becoming the coach who has gotten another World Cup. So he has the credit, even if we have the tendency to forget very quickly.
So will it fall on Mbappe's shoulders, for example?
No, everybody.
Because everyone needs a scapegoat.
I think everybody.
There will be. The media wants somebody
of
to
course,
blame.
because you're a star, because you want to be the fifth shooter in the penalty, so you want to have all the credit because you think that the fifth one is going to get everything, but you miss it, so we are eliminated. But
but we saw everything with Giroud and everything like that in the build-up. Like,
no, I really think that everybody has to be blamed because they had a day off. They didn't do what they had to do to beat Switzerland.
Explain, Frank, how you have a poor first half. You come out, you go goal down. Your goalkeeper has to make a save off of a penalty. Then that's the kick up the backside.
Yeah.
Pogba scores that brilliant third goal. And then how do you switch off again? How do you then, is that complacency?
That's what it is. That's the complacency because
it's over. We've scored the third goal.
It's an evidence of complacency. You don't play well for almost an hour. You wait for being almost dead in that game because of the second penalty, and then, wow, it's going to our side now, so we can go for it. And suddenly, you show your talent, you score 2 goals in 3 minutes, you score 3 goals in 15 minutes, and you go back to that complacency.
Yeah.
And you are smashed back with 2 other goals, and you're out of the competition.
Just take us into like a professional locker room, Nedum. Like we think that everyone should be around, go out there, go and beat Switzerland, don't be complacent, go and do it. Does that need to happen for these sort of matches with this sort of talent on show? In that they need that kind of guidance? A reminder about how big this game is?
Not necessarily. I'll hold my hands up and say I've not been in the last 16 dressing room leading up to going into a game. But one thing is for sure, in this day and age, there's certain players who will like to gather people around and try and heavily motivate them. But it doesn't mean you'll get that response from everybody. That's the key thing. There are some players who do not need motivating whatsoever.
Right.
But then there are others, as we've kind of just seen with France there, because they're going to be criticised. Because when we do the breakdown, however poor they were in the first half and so on, they were 3-1 up with 15 minutes to go.
Yeah.
So in a knockout round, the team you're coming up against, they're going to give everything to go and try and score against you. And at that point there, the flicks and the tricks and the play and all that stuff, ultimately it doesn't matter because you just need to stop them from getting back into the game.
Right.
I think today we've seen two examples of it actually where, we'll praise Spain because they scored 5 goals. But again, what happened to them at the end of that game? It's tough. It's stuff which is tough to see because as a defender, you're going to be up against it, but you need everybody pulling in the same direction.
Yeah.
And when it turns out that those people aren't there in the biggest and most important phase of the game, it's disappointing. But unfortunately, as I say, football's in a place now where people are motivated by essentially different things, and maybe making that last-ditch tackle or running back in with 5 minutes to go it's not at the top of your priority list. But it should be because that's what gets you to the next round.
If I may, I know why I'm upset, in fact. In '82, France were leading 3-1 against Germany in semi-final of the World Cup in Spain during the extra time. Germany came back 3-3 and won on penalties. That was a lesson for me and for every football players. And I always talk to Michel Platini, Luis Fernandez, and the others that they gave us the example of what not to do.
Right.
And because they were playing in France at the time, the Bosman law didn't exist, so only Platini played for Juventus. The others were playing in France. We went abroad to learn experience, how the Italians were playing, the German, the English, the Spanish, whatever, and we won in '98, saying. What happened in 1982 will never happen again because we learned from this lesson.
Right.
Today, we go back to 82,
Yeah.
where you win 3-1, you have talented player, we have the experience, but for another reason, the opponent comes back and kicks you out. And I'm upset about that because it shouldn't happen again.
What's the likelihood that the next France match, Zinedine Zidane will be in charge?
That I'm not into the good places to know that. That's a possibility because I mean Didier Deschamps had a long term with France, started and had a very good run. Zidane is free. We all know that. So of course there will be a debate. I don't know what is Didier Deschamps' contract,
right.
if it still has some years. But I wish the best to both of them. But there will be a fight between friends. I don't know. I will see and I will comment it.
You're still smiling, Frank. How do you think Julien Laurent is? He must be on the floor.
Well, because I'm not a fan. I love football.
Yes.
And when I see that, like I say against Hungary, I mean, I loved what Switzerland showed to France.
Right.
And that you don't have to be fair. You cannot be upset because you lose a game.
I bet Jules is upset.
Well, you're upset because you're a fan, and I can understand that. I'm not a fan. I mean, I love France, I love my country, but I have to be clever enough to accept the fact that we didn't deserve to go through today.
And it's kind of cool that this generation isn't as successful as you were.
Oh, that's being bad. That's
So
being
let's
bad.
take a look then at how the bracket
Enough.
stands. It will be then, as we all expected, Switzerland against Spain in the quarterfinal. Of course, the other side, Belgium against Italy.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN+.